are live, and something that's been really important to me over the last few months as I've been evolving my business that has now, we'll call, go from uh, startup infancy to more mature adolescence years. We're a team of almost 90 employees now. We're a multi seven figure agency. And so I'm developing the muscle of truly working on the business more than I'm working in it. I'm going to tell a story. Years ago, when I was enabling global sales professionals, I would talk about, as I would get questions about LinkedIn, and they would say, what should I do here? What should I do here? And I always would say this thing: process over platform. And why? Because social media platforms were changing all the time, but there were overarching processes that you needed to think about. So you needed to, as an example, use your left side of your brain to develop a database or a total addressable market of who you wanted to target. Then on the right side of your brain, you would develop a cadence and a sequence, an arcing story, and you would then decide the mediums of communication. That could be one social media platform over another. And you would then tell that arcing story in multiple cadences and sequences. Long and the short, as I would describe to people, you have to decide those things first. Then the platform that you choose, LinkedIn, X, and remember all the social media platforms, Periscope and Meerkat, and Google had its own, and they all came and went. And that's why it was important to develop process. Well, as I mature as a founder, what I've discovered is I'm adding a layer ahead of it. I've been spending the summer reading a lot of Dan Sullivan's book. And if you're not familiar with who Dan Sullivan is, he's the coach to CEOs. He's the coach to coaches. And I can't tell you how many of my founder friends, their coach is Dan Sullivan. So there's two books I really want you to read. Book number one is called Who, Not How. And book number two, I just finished, The Gap in the Game. Let me describe why they're so important. Who, not how. There are so many times, especially now in this agency, this is my third agency, where I'm now busting through every day is a new day. We have more employees than I've ever had before. We have more revenue than I've ever had before. We are encountering now scale challenges that I've never been at this scale at this point in history. So every day is new to me. What Dan Sullivan talks about is, instead of using my brain all day long to try to crack the code on the how do you know how to do it when you've never done it before? So the goal of a scaled founder and CEO is to actually find, it becomes a talent acquisition problem. So how do I find the who's already done this, that can guide what to do next, and then actually turn the idea, in like the strategy, into execution? So the who, not how, has been so paramount to the last 6+ months of our growth. As we had 30 or 40 employees at the beginning of the year. Now we're almost at 90, and we're growing through teammates who are developing new intellectual property, new service lines, new execution, new service level agreements with our customers, and they are executing dreams because they've done it before, and they're pulling playbooks in. But as I get older and older, I come to realize, and I'll come back to another book from Dan Sullivan, Gap the Game, but I keep coming back to Ray Dalio, talking about principles. And these first principles, I'm starting to develop more of a strategy there that they sit above process. I'll give you some examples, tangible examples of first principles. In my first agency, Sales for Life, it scaled wildly fast. But I had the financial acumen of a child. And so when we were getting statements of work giving statements of work to Microsoft, Oracle, Intel, Thomson Reuters, the largest companies in the world, in the terms and conditions that their lawyers would send to us, it would say, accounts receivables, 30 days, maybe when we first started. And then the bigger our deals got into the six figures, it would say 45 days and 60 days and 90 days. And I kept thinking, that sounds amazing. I'm doing this $250,000 deal. It's going to be incredible. But what I didn't realize is that when a company pays you net 90, you will go through 3 pay periods of all your employees, all of your software vendors, all of your real estate, you will pay 3 months out of your own bank. So you become a bank before you collect $1 of service. And so actually the law of big numbers makes it worse. The bigger you get, the faster you grow. When you do days outstanding past day 30, you are using other people's money to pay your operating expenses so that you can collect money in the future. The bigger you get, the more it snowballs. Nobody ever told me this. So long and the short is I started to develop a first principle around this. And when we started Get Leverage, we made it day sales outstanding of 0 was the first principle. And how would we accomplish this? Well, so we thought through the problem. And the solution was we will use Stripe and have our customers pay by credit card. So the moment that they pay, the work begins. I have a positive cash flow cycle. That cash flow can be used to grow headcount and sales ahead of sales. And the organization can grow faster. The faster we spin the wheel, in fact, the cash uses the cash to grow the business. You grow a multi-million-dollar business, and we started it on a $10,000 credit card. And so these simple details of a principle help fuel the process, the how we're going, the how we're going to execute, the who we're going to use to execute, and then the platforms was the Stripe, the credit card processing through WooCommerce, the SLAs and the service level agreements and the refunding rules and the terms and conditions. It actually starts at the principles. And so I think this is so valuable. I want to update this saying. It goes principles, then process, then platform. And platform doesn't literally mean software, but it means tactile, the executables. So if you think about it, the first principles are the rules to the road. The process are going to be who's going to get this done, under what timeline, and what are going to be the overarching strategy that you need to have, regardless of the people that come in or the technology. This is going to be the process at which we execute. So principle, day sales outstanding has to be 0. Process is we are going to make sure that we install a system that has a checkout experience to collect cash before service. Now we're into the platform. The platform is we will use WooCommerce and Stripe, and it will come into the bank account, into the TD bank account automatically, and it will notify the customer and all these details. As a founder, please take stock after 20 years of being a founder that you can start documenting some of these things. What is your first principle, your gut, your instinct? It's almost like the rule to the road, the law that you wouldn't break. The process is going to be the overarching strategy and objective and kind of like the milestones you want to get to that'll be irrespective of people and technology. And then the platform are going to be the people that are going to do it, the SLAs, the service level agreements, the tools, and so forth. I hope you found this valuable. This has been greatly insightful